just had, I think, one of the most just mind-blowing awakenings spiritually that I need to document. I decided to do like a meditation, but instead of just sitting there trying to focus on like only my breath or whatever, I decided to do it while walking on the treadmill. And I even held on to the little handles, so the walking was very easy. It was just like left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. And I turned on some meditation music. And usually for me, it's very hard to meditate and focus because it feels forced. But this time, because I let my body do something, like a very easy activity that my body could focus on, my mind got, like, didn't have to think. My body was doing something, so I had a completely blank slate in my mind. And I was walking on the treadmill, and it almost felt like, and I ended up in this place. I'll expand on that. But in this place, the first thing that happened was I was in a third-person view, almost like I was watching myself from the side. Like I could see it happening in front of me. So what I saw was me. I could tell it was me, but I didn't look like me. I was pretty much just this light in the form, like shape of a human, walking in what was almost like space, but just like this black abyss of space. And with each step, under my feet were glowing, which sounds almost like stereotypical, but I was glowing, and my feet, like each step was glowing and stuff. And then, like, how I ended up there, it didn't feel forced. It didn't feel like I was trying to focus. It almost felt like when you fall asleep but don't even realize that you fell asleep. Like when you fall asleep and wake up the next morning, like, when did I fall asleep? So it's like I fell asleep and woke up in this place, and I didn't even remember like getting there, how I got there. I just kind of woke up there. But behind me was my soul, which was just this giant, like, human of light. Looked just like me, a little more see-through, but looked just like me, but just huge, like skyscraper tall. Oh shoot, right behind me. And it was just walking with me, and I walked for what felt like eternity. It felt like I was just walking forever, distance wise, but time wise, I just like kind of appeared there. So very long distance, but very quickly. And I showed up in this place, same dark abyss, like space, like place. And I saw myself, the ball of light, with the bigger giant, with my soul behind me. And I felt very safe because the actual, like, the soul, I knew it was protecting me, and it was standing behind me almost like a guard, like a security guard, just towering over me. And I knew that if anything happened to me, my soul was there behind me protecting me. And then the soul, I almost got introduced. No words were said. First off, I want to say, in this place, it wasn't warm, it wasn't cold, bad, good, like anything like that. It just was this place, like, that I felt very safe in, like I had been there before, which, once again, stereotypical, but it felt like I was there many times and I was meant to be there. I felt very safe. And then this being, my soul behind me, I got introduced to it with no words. I just knew that that was me, like my soul. Um, that was there almost guiding me, like showing me this place. And then next thing I know, there's like everybody I've met in my life just lined up. So like, here's my soul, here's me. Keep in mind, I'm seeing this from like a third person view. There's this huge being, which is my soul. There's me, and then there's everybody I've met lined up in front of me. And at this point, I and my soul, mainly me, were just glowing, like very, very bright glowing. And then like almost like my soul just told me to, once again, no words, just like told me to go through these people. And it was almost like showing me getting introduced to these people just like throughout my life. It was like, so here's the people, and I'm just passing through them, like our souls are passing through. And like each person I met, their soul was very dark, but not, it wasn't so much dark, it was more like dim. And then as my soul passed through theirs just started like glowing just as bright as mine. And it was like glow, 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 like dark, glow, 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 all through all of them. And I was just everybody I met, and I could like tell, like point, if I pointed to one person, I'd be like, oh, that was this person that I've met at some point. And then it was almost like an endless loop. Like I would go through these people, and then they would be glowing, and I would be a little bit dimmed, and I would just circle back up, like see myself circle back up, pass through my soul again, and I was just glowing. And then I passed through everybody I knew again, and it was like they glowed. I was dimmed, passed through my soul. I was glowing again, passed through them, and it almost was like passing. It was passing through like this, like right through them, and this was just happening over and over. And then I ended up coming back. Like I didn't walk back to my body. I just kind of appeared back in my body, and then I saw myself, my real body at this point, like what you're looking at. And I just, keep in mind, I was in the gym walking on the treadmill, and I just flew like through the wall in front of me. I could see the gym, I could see everything, and I flew through the wall in front of me and just like was flying. At this point, I was in the air, and I could see where I lived, Rapid City. And I could just see the buildings, almost like I was just Superman flying through the sky, like seeing everything. And it was what you'd expect from flying. Like I was flying in between cars and all sorts of stuff, looking at the buildings. But then I like it was almost like I knew I had a short time to be flying. And I flew around, looked at the city, and then just appeared back in my body. And then after I was in my body, my soul, not my body, but my soul, what I was saying earlier, the little me, just appeared back with the big, massive being that was also me. And it was like without saying anything, I knew that it showed me, like it chose to give me that experience of seeing everything, the real world, while flying, which was so fun and so sick. But like, then it was like, now you're back. And while I was flying, I ended up actually visiting like people I knew in the real world as myself, but like pretty much doing that energy exchange of passing through them, but I could see it, like my body and their body. I didn't pass through them, but it was like we would just be so close that it would like our energies would just merge. But then I would have to like go fly to the next like person, and I didn't see everybody. It was just like a couple people, and I saw my mom and stuff. And like I'm gonna be honest, which I don't really want to be right now, but like I saw her very sad when I actually like flew and appeared with her in real life, and she was very sad. And then it's almost like I comforted her the way that she did when I was just a kid, when I was a baby. But it's not like I was like pitying her, like, oh, it's gonna be okay. It was like I was returning the light to her soul that she gave me at one point when I was young. so then she could glow again, and then it was like I had to leave, like I said, and go to the next person. I don't remember anybody else I saw, but I know that I saw other people. And then, like I said, I appeared back in my body, went back to this soul-like space place. And like I said, I knew that that big being needed to show me that. And then, once again, this is going to sound stereotypical, but that big being, like, I was now that being, and I was, like, almost floating in the air like this, just, like, in the abyss. And I could see, like, this whole time I was just this light. Like, I didn't have features. I was just this thing of light, this body of light that was shaped like a human. And I started, like, flashing really quick into, like, all sorts of animals. This sounds so fake, but, like, I saw I saw myself shift into an owl, and then like an elephant, and like a caterpillar, just anything, every animal ever I became. But then I was back to the human state. And then, like, it's kind of hard for me to remember the rest right now. But then it was like I was back to like the little me and the big soul figure, and it pretty much like I started feeling my real body again in real life. And I could control my breathing and felt myself walking. No, each breath in, some of that huge glowing soul came back into my little real, not like real body, but like the little me. And it was like coming back into me. And then this little me just kind of soaked back into my real form, my real body. And I started like glowing, like my eyes were closed the whole time, but then I could see myself, or like feel myself glowing again. My real body like glowing, just like I was the soul in the visual. And I was just glowing, and I felt safe. I was like, all right, I'm back in my body. I could still hear the music at this point, which really helped a lot. And I was like, felt safe. I was like, I'm back in my body. I'm here again. Felt glowing. And I was like, it was almost a little scary to open my eyes again, but I was like, all right, I'm here. Opened my eyes, and I was like, I was just back. And I was like walking. And then I turned off the treadmill, put on my shoes, and the music was still playing. And I was just like walking back to the locker room, and it was almost like I was just like, it felt like I was like not seeing life for the first time, but I was like, I'm here. Like, I was seeing everything, and I knew I was back in the real world. I just kind of sat there in the locker room for a second, like analyzing what I just felt. And I was like, that was insane. That was such an experience. And I was just like mind blown. And yeah, it was insane, but very cool, very fun.